here we are. Matt, wave hello.
Hello, hello,
We're
hello.
sort of kind of streaming. We're waiting for everything blue to turn green. Well, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're waiting for YouTube. Is always the last, except yesterday it was the first one. There we are. Okay, let's get this
Nice.
party started here. All right, music, please. Orchestra.
There it is. Pump it up. I don't want to fall off my chair. Nice. Pump it up.
Bump it up. I
Yeah,
learned that
let's
in
go.
years.
Bright and early.
I just met this guy in the parking lot 12 minutes ago.
Pull me in.
Look at the black shirt. He knows.
Exactly. We're working it.
Oh, I like the way you talk.
That's it. Birthday day.
I think we're gonna give the Suno Orchestra a chance to take a break. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's
Thank
December
you.
19th. Where is the year going? It's
Oh,
almost gone. I'm wondering what happened. Well, we've done almost 80 of these HB2U shows with such interesting co-hosts. And before I get the show started, I would like to introduce something. Literally, I met him 14 minutes ago in the
look at
parking
it.
lot. His name is Matt Kovacs, Kovacs. Matt, 2 minutes. Tell everybody who you are and what you do and how you found me. Go.
Yes, thank you. No, I'm happy to be here. It should be fun. My background is grew up in Pittsburgh. Wanted to escape to get to the warm weather, so went to USC, graduated there, and then I lived in Chicago and Boston, and then made my way back to LA, and
Ooh.
have worked for Levi's and Lids, and then made it to agency life. So we have a number of clients in the lifestyle clients, so beverage, food, retailers, restaurants, etc. So it's a fun agency. We have two offices, Santa Monica and Santa Barbara. So again, not bad places to be in. And I live in Long Beach, California. I have my wife,
Nice.
daughter, and two dogs.
Very nice. And
Yeah.
what's the name of your agency? Tell everybody again.
Blaze PR.
Blaze.
Yep, PR,
I
yes.
I love it. Good, good, good. What are the dogs' names?
Chuck, who's an English bulldog, and Truffle, who's a French bulldog.
I love it. Okay, let's get started here.
Nice.
Here's my opening. It's time to cheer, to toast, to woo. We can toast. It's almost that time. It's December 19th. Happy birthday to you and you and you. With Bonnie D on her scarlet mic dishing glam and sass with a vintage spike. We'll skip the vintage part. And look who's here with a velvet roar. He's brand new to me. We just met. It's Matt Kay, my guest co-host du jour. We're naming names in the birthday game from Hollywood Heights to YouTube fame, plus wacky holidays and music history gold. Get ready, darlings. The fun is set to unfold. Now, here's some statistics. December 19th is the 353rd day of the year. In the Gregorian calendar, it's marked very clear. 12 days till the New Year's ball makes its fall. Then 2025's over. And happy 2026 to all. So grab your party hat. I don't have mine. Well, the flower, that's my party hat. And let the champagne pour. It's 11:21. We could have a mimosa. HB2U is lighting up December 19th with glam and bam and so much more. So here we go. I'll get us started. Music milestones. 1955, December 19th. Carl Perkins recorded the now seminal rock and roll standard Blue Suede Shoes. I don't know if anybody has those anymore. The song was made famous 1 year later by Elvis. What? When Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, and many more also recorded their own versions because it was really, really popular. Matt, anything you want to say about that before you give us the next one?
No, I think it's interesting as you get from Elvis into the next one, where that's where today was when Elvis got his draft notice, which again we all know about. And the other ironic thing, December the same month was when his Christmas album was released and the song Blue Christmas was launched, which he's famous for this time of year. And it was never a number one hit when he released it. It wasn't until years later that it became number one.
Really? And
Yes,
interesting, Blue Christmas and Blue Suede Shoes. I wonder if they have
bang
anything to
bang.
do
That's
with
right,
each
back to
other.
back.
Back to back. So that was in 57 when he got
Yes,
his draft notice, which was a big sigh for all the girls who were fans, right? Oh, Elvis is going into the
yeah,
army. Oh
that's
my
right. He got the
goodness,
crew
great.
cut. He did it all. Yeah.
But those hips were still swiveling somehow. I bet he had fun in the barracks. In 1958, Conway Twitty's It's Only Make Believe was number one in the UK singles chart, not here, over there across the pond. The song became the first to reach the UK top 10 in 4 different years. Matt, this was very unusual. Billy Fury had a hit with it in 64. Glenn Campbell had a hit in 1970. And somebody or a band named Child, I don't know them, probably British,
Yeah.
1978. So starting in 58 through 78, the song It's Only Make Believe, I just killed that one. No, I butchered it, was number one in the UK. Oh my goodness. And Conway Twitty, what an interesting character he was.
Yes. No, totally. I like the next one is more interesting in my world. So, Beatles' fourth album, Beatles for Sale, was began a 7 week run, top of the UK charts, and then it was dethroned by the Stones. And then the question is always, are you a Beatles person or a Stones person? So I'm more of a Beatles person, but I'm curious if you are Beatles or Stones.
Beatles.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Beatles.
that's interesting trivia that they knocked him out.
However, when I was a drummer and I was doing open mic nights when I lived in Durham, North Carolina a couple of
Yeah,
years ago, I got to go up on the drum kit with a put together band of whoever was in the tavern at the time.
sure.
And I used to play da 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 da, and I miss you.
There
And
you
that
go.
was a Stones song, and
Yep.
that was one of my favorites to play. So I did do some Stones music, but I'm definitely a Beatles fan. As a matter
Cool.
of fact, I don't want to give any age or dates, but when I was in high school, one of my classmates said that she and her other friends had gone into New York and they went to whatever hotel the Beatles were staying at and they had hidden in a laundry cart and gotten
Oh,
smuggled
that's
into
funny.
the Beatles room.
Yes.
I don't think we ever believed them, but it was a cool
Yeah.
story to bring
Yeah.
back to school because we said, "Where were you yesterday?" We were, what was the name of the hotel where the Beatles used to stay? I think it's not, I'm thinking the Warwick, but it could be something else. Anyway, very interesting story. So, what have we got next? Let's see. I'm next. Am I
Yeah.
next? Yeah,
Yes,
I'm next.
please.
1964, the same day the Beatles for, I didn't even know there was an album called Beatles for Sale. The same day the Supremes scored their third number one hit with Come See About Me. I almost got that one right. The track was opened with a fade in. Matt, it was one of the first times a fade in was used on a recording. Do you
Hmm.
remember Come See About Me? Were you Supremes?
Vaguely, no, I wasn't a Supremes. That was a little before my time.
Okay, excuse me. Okay,
Yeah.
you can do the next one then. We're jumping
Uh,
ahead.
yeah, no. So Elton John got his first US hit with Your Song, and then this was actually first released by Three Dog Night. And staying with our theme, uh, do you know their famous Christmas songs, each one of them? So Elton John had Step Into Christmas, which was his famous one, and then Three Dog Night had Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. They were one of the many of people that recorded that as well, and it became a hit.
Was that the same Rocking Around the Christmas Tree that
Yeah,
Brenda
same
Lee?
one.
Well,
Yeah, but just
do
they
you
had their own version of it. Yeah.
rocking around
Yep.
the Christmas tree, have a happy
And that I feel
holiday?
like everyone does that in their Christmas albums. It's an easy one.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. Brenda Lee had a hit with that, but it never made number one until 60 years later when other people were recording it and somebody made a video. I think it was just a few years ago from
Yeah.
now, and it went to number one, and she was the oldest singer to make a number
Wow.
one hit that was 65 years after it debuted.
That's
So
crazy.
it's very,
Yeah.
very great. And she
Yeah.
just had a birthday. We celebrated her birthday last week. Let's go to 1981.
Yeah.
We're jumping ahead by leaps and bounds here. ABBA. I was intrigued. It's a back and forth palindrome. ABBA, all in caps. Interesting. Not too many other groups had a name like that. They scored their seventh chart topping album. We're back to the UK again, and the album was named The Visitors, showcasing a new technology. And I'm going to tell you what that is because, Matt, I know you want to know. It was one of the first records to be digitally recorded
Oh, all right.
and mixed, and one of the earliest titles to be released on CD the
Wow.
following year. This was 1981. That is 2020. That's 45 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
For almost 40 years, the album The Visitors remained ABBA's final album. Well, we know about final and final tours. We know how many times she's done her final tour. But the group reunited in 2021 with the release of a new album called Voyage. So ABBA wasn't done. There you go.
Then in 94, so 33 years after the first release of Thriller, came the first album to sell more than 30 million copies. And then it also was the first number one album in the Billboard 200. So it's been 37 consecutive weeks, which they always talk about, Dark Side of the Moon's always number one or on that chart. The other thing that was interesting is that Eddie Van Halen played the guitar solo on the song Beat It, but he was uncredited, and it wasn't revealed till like decades later that was actually he admitted that was him playing on the album.
I didn't know that. Well, Michael Jackson's Thriller was a thrilling success, and I remember it,
Mhm.
and they're still showing videos of the dances he was doing, and it was
Yes,
produced by the very wonderful, very prolific Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones.
What a partnership that was. Let's move to 12. We were from 94, we're jumping all the way to 2012. We had to talk about Madonna. Her MDNA World Tour was the highest grossing tour of 2012. Now, listen to this $228 million from 1.6 million fans in 65 cities around the world. Now, if we compare that to Ms. Taylor Swift, that's almost not even in the ballpark. But Bruce Springsteen came in that year, 2012, which was only 13 years ago, with a mere $198 million, Matt, if only.
Yeah,
Coldplay was fifth place. Lady Gaga was sixth place. She only had 1.1 million concert goers. I don't know how much money she pulled in, but if you based it on the number of people there. So Lady Gaga was still, I hate to say it, getting her feet wet. I could
yeah,
say other things back in 2012. So Madonna, yay, 2012. Wow. And you've got one more to finish this segment. What
yeah.
you got?
And I'm surprised it was this long ago that in 2016, the UK official chart company started to add streaming services into the whole top 40 hits countdowns. And the that seems I thought it would have been more recent in that because there's always the debate. And then again, are you a Spotify or Apple Music person? Which one are you do you use if you stream?
Apple.
Yeah,
Apple
same. That's
Apple
it. Same.
Music and all my sound effects and all my shows. I'm using my Apple Music app
Yep.
to play all the music on
Yeah.
my show. So there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've tried Spotify, and had my own little band called what was it, Blueberry Jam Band. I think I started a little Latin band when I was in Durham a couple years ago, and we would use Spotify to learn the songs or to
Mhm.
download them, but I haven't used it in a long time. So sorry, Spotify. Let's go to celebrity birthdays.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of really interesting ones here. I'm going to start us off with Jake Gyllenhaal. He's all of 45. I almost thought he would be older because he's done
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
much. That's a compliment. His breakthrough role was in the 1999 film October Sky. He starred in the cult classic Donnie Darko. He won, and I don't know what this award is, the 2003 Chloe Trudis Award for Best Actor. I've never heard of that award, but
No.
good for you, Jake. He
Yeah.
won a BAFTA for Best Supporting Actress for playing Jack Twist in 2005. This is a very well-known movie, Brokeback Mountain. He also had memorable roles in The Day After Tomorrow, in Zodiac, in Nightcrawler, interesting names, and Love and Other Drugs. That would be, if you put together his filmography, it certainly would tell an interesting story. He is the brother of the actress Maggie Gyllenhaal, and before fame, he worked as a lifeguard and a busboy in his teen years. And he debuted in 1991. I don't know how old he was, but not much, as Danny Robbins in the movie City Slickers. Happy birthday, Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, you've got the next one.
So, age 53 now, Alyssa Milano. So, obviously, from Who's the Boss was sort of her breakthrough in the early 80s. Then
Hmm.
also was in Charmed, which is another one where, again, she had her more of an adult role in that series. Then she was obviously in Melrose Place. That's if I look at my TV history, I remember her from those. But she started at age 8 doing Annie. And then currently now, I think something that was interesting because you look at celebrities that either start their own companies or have a beverage, have this, that. She actually got licenses for all the major sports leagues, and she has a female brand called Touch. So it has female fits and styles. So Major League Baseball, college, football. That yeah, she's really embraced that as her sort of passion now.
I didn't know that. Your research is really good. And I have to also say she was in a UK drama series called Mistresses, and starting in 2013. I watched that. It was four female leads, and she was very, very interesting in that. She also starred in 2018 in Netflix's Insatiable. So happy birthday, Alyssa Milano. Let's go to Tim Reed. He's 81. He's the oldest one on our chart today. Well, except for one in memoriam. But
Yeah.
Tim Reed, REID, actor, comedian, film director, is known for his roles in primetime television, such as Venus Flytrap on WKRP. And would you believe in Cincinnati? I have never seen that show.
Oh,
I
really?
I
Oh, that's
have
a
to.
classic.
Lonnie Anderson and Betty White. I've got to go see that.
Yeah.
He also
Johnny
played
Fever. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. He also played Marcel Downtown Brown in Simon and Simon. I think I remember that in the mid to late 80s. He
Yep.
played Ray Campbell on Sister Sister 1994 to 99. He played William Barnett on That 70s Show 2004 to 2006. Was that with Ashton Kutcher? I think so, That 70s Show. He starred in a CBS series called Frank's Place as a professor who inherits a Louisiana restaurant. Interesting. I have a comment about that in a second. He is the founder and president of an organization called Legacy Media Institute. It's a nonprofit and it has a very noble goal dedicated to bringing together leading professionals in film and TV industries, outstanding actors, young men and women who wish to pursue a career in the entertainment media. Before fame, in 1968, he and insurance salesman Tom Dreesen met at a junior chamber of commerce meeting near Chicago, Matt. Interesting place to meet people. And
Yeah.
somebody said, "We want you to sponsor an anti-drug program in the local schools." Well, apparently they were so good together in their spiel or their shtick they were doing that some kid in the school said, "You're pretty funny. Why don't you do comedy?" So they formed the first known interracial comedy duo called Tim and Tom. That's cute in itself. In
Hmm.
2008, they wrote a book together called Tim and Tom, an American comedy in black and white, co-written with sports writer Ron Rappaport. And I want to say, related to his Frank's Place, there is now a very delightful TV show started by Reba McEntire, starring her and her boyfriend, her real boyfriend, Rex Lynn, and it's called Happy's Place. And she inherited a restaurant bar from her dad. That's the premise. So
Interesting.
very similar. Yes,
Yep.
and I didn't realize that Tim Reed was in a similar. And in this one, her daddy had a little side gig. Actually, he made a little girl with another lady other than her mother in the
Oh, that's
show.
funny.
And the half sister walks in and says, "Hi, I have an MBA and I think I want to run your restaurant," something like that. They have to learn to become half sisters. It's
Yeah.
very well written. If you haven't seen it, I think you would enjoy it. The writing is crisp, the characters are well defined, and it's actually a laugh out loud. I think it's on CBS, and it's
Sounds
called
about right. Yeah.
Happy's Place. Very, very fun. And you've got an in memoriam of a
I
very,
do. Yeah.
very, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, iconic Cicely Tyson. So yeah,
Yes.
1924 to 2021. So she was 96. Again, she was portrayed strong African American women through, 7 decades. Started with the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, and then she got the Screen Actors Guild Award, and for that in 2011 she was in Help.
Yes.
And then she also has Tony Awards, Trip to Bountiful, an honorary Oscar in 2018. She was Emmy nominated for Roots, King, and the Trip Bountiful, and then How to Get Away with Murder. So she worked all the way up through 2020 in her career. She was married to Miles Davis, which was interesting through the 80s. When you
Wow.
look her up too, that was the only thing that was deemed controversial, but then they said it wasn't. Like they were it was such a big deal that the two of them got together. Um,
Yeah.
and then before she was famous, she was discovered by a photographer and was in Ebony magazine. And then she first acted on stage, Dark of the Moon in Harlem in 1958. And it was 1961 where she made her TV debut on NBC, Frontiers of Faith. And she was the first African American woman to wear an afro on TV. That was another big thing that came up. And that was deemed a controversy at the time. But once again, you look at it in now and it's silly. And the last thing was she was Lenny Kravitz's godmother. So
Really?
little, yeah,
That
another
I
that little known fact.
Well, one of her roles that I really, really enjoyed was she played Viola Davis's lead character, Annalise Keating, the lead in How to Get Away with Murder. Cicely Tyson played her mother.
Oh
And there
wow.
was some deep, very, very dark family secrets that were revealed, and they had a very difficult relationship as mother and daughter. And if you ever watched How to Get Away with Murder, there are iconic scenes with Cicely Tyson in that show that were just incredible. And the other place I remember her was with The Help, which was a very
Yeah.
interesting film. And it's been criticized for how it approached what it
Mhm.
was talking about domestic help in America in those back in the day. But very strong actresses came out of that. And Cicely Tyson, of course, was already very established by then. So happy birthday in memoriam. Cicely Tyson lived from 1924 to 2021, a nice 96 years, and she certainly made a contribution to what we consider movie and TV lore. And
Mhm.
let me see if I can get an applause track here for Oh, let's get a little louder there,
We
kids.
got
We
through it
want.
all.
There we go. We're okay. Quiet down, kids. We have some social media star birthdays. These are interesting. To get
Yeah.
on my list, Matt, they need at least 1.5 million fans,
Okay.
followers, or views. So I'm going to start out with a young lady. Her age is unknown. She says she's 14, but the thinking online is that she's really late teens or early 20s because she's done an awful lot. Her
Mhm.
name is Shfa. SHFA. Don't even know how to pronounce it. She says she's 14. We'll leave that one alone. She has 55 million subscribers on YouTube. She's an Emirati YouTuber. She posts Frozen from the Disney film Frozen, role plays and challenges between the characters Elsa and Anna. Well, that should be interesting. And her video called The Verge of correcting Elsa musical instruments, exclamation, 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 has over 100
Wow.
million views. Matt, in your business, if one of your clients had 100 million views, how many parties would you throw?
Well, at that, and also it's interesting now because it's pivoted with influencers in this way of just the revenue streams and just the licensing and where they can go in that regard. I think that's always just interesting to analyze how the media world went from reporters to bloggers to vloggers, and now you have these influencers that now dictate a lot of the media narrative.
There you go. And what's interesting to me is typically when you have somebody on social media with this many followers and this many views who says they're in their teens, typically they come from a family group that has its own family channel and they're part of that and then they spin off or separate and they
Mhm.
have their own followers. I did not see anything in terms of Shfa. I pronounce it Shifa. I'll just say Shifa.
Yeah,
If she's related to anybody else who has their own. So that's an incredible amount, 100 million views for
yeah,
one. So I guess the key here is that Frozen, that Disney film is
that's
so
it. Yeah,
popular
just
that
tap
she's
into it.
doing something interesting. You've got the next one. Who else? Who's our next birthday person?
So the next one is the Dentist, and he is a dentist influencer named Ben Winters, and he does comedy stuff. He has some really interesting, things you do before you go to the dentist, things that happen in the chair, all those aspects. But he's also trained to be a trainer, so he talks a lot about also, your physical and mental health as well as your teeth. The one thing I thought was interesting, and he references it a lot of times, he shows other people's, but he says he does have jars of teeth in his office. So he saves them from people and he has a big jar. He showed a different dentist that had them. It was a massive jar in like the formaldehyde keeping them going. But yeah, nothing more disturbing than seeing jars of teeth.
Well, there's some TV shows I watched recently where they had jars of other body parts,
Yes,
scientists and
yes,
doctors,
yes.
and teeth really wouldn't bother me too much, but anything else, yes. So there you go. So Bentist, very, very interesting. He also has a company called the Something Nice Company.
Yep.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Nothing about teeth or dentist or pulling. I'm going to go on to, we have another, well, let's see, the Bentist is 35. So we've got the next one is in that same age range. He is called Spoken Reasons. He is 37. He has 317 million plus views. Oh my goodness. He's a comedian and actor who started his career on his YouTube channel. How about that? Based on his passion for, oh, bear with me, expressing his thoughts through spoken word poetry from a young age. I guess he knew what it was all about on social media. He released an album called The Game Changer. He co starred, this was interesting. He has made it. He co starred in 2013. How old was he then? 12 years ago? He was in his 20s in the
Wow.
Melissa McCarthy film, The Heat. So he's bigger than just being an influencer
Yeah.
on YouTube. And you've got one more for us.
Yeah, the next one is YouTube and TikTok star, I'll say Che Denny, or
Yeah, good enough.
yes, that's a good guess. 27. So 1.9 million subscribers, and then on YouTube and 1.1 in TikTok. He does all kinds of tests and products, and he does them on himself. He walked a marathon in a Walmart, or he tests how far a Sharpie can draw. The TikTok in 2021, how far can deodorant draw, had 10 million views. And I again watched it. It wasn't that long, but it was basically he put deodorant on a treadmill and to see how fast it would run out. And it ended up doing 1,037 laps of if you had actually walked it. That's how long deodorant lasts.
Was this the liquid kind or
No, it's the roll-on kind.
the
Yeah,
rolling? Okay,
yeah.
I can't even. Let's just get let's get a track here going here. That deserves that.
And it ruined. He had to change the band twice because the first one ruined it and was starting to screw up the machine.
You are very dedicated to have learned that. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. We're
Yes.
done with birthdays. We're going to move to wacky holidays. We've got quite a few today, and Matt and I are going to take turns telling you information that you didn't know you could live without until now, and then you're going to be so happy. Today is National Hard Candy Day. Let's go all the way back to the 13th century, Matt. Crystallized sugar candy or rock candy emerged as a valuable transportable sweet. Hopefully, it wouldn't melt. Refined in the Middle East, spread to Europe. How well the trade routes or routes, it became a luxury item, as many things did back then. And it was produced by boiling cane juice, that's cane sugar, into molds to form solid cones that were later grated, as in a like a cheese grater or a whatever, and chopped for use in medicine. Huh. Cooking, okay, and elaborate banquet decorations, with terms evolving from Sanskrit through Persian, Arabic into Old French and English. That was the origins, we think, in the 13th century of hard candy. What happened next?
So next is actually we're going to stay on the boiled hard candy theme. John Miller and Sons, Scottish confectionery. So they specialized in mints and boiled sweets, which I did not, know the term boiled sweets. I did
No,
dig deep on that, but that's how a lot of this is made. So they do a lot in their back room, and so they have pan drops, chocolate eclairs, and then boiled confectionaries like blackcurrant and licorice. So that was interesting to see how they made them, and the fact that that's obviously stuff I've enjoyed. But yeah, and it's Scottish, and it's in the town of Leith.
interesting. And it's Miller with an AR, not an ER. We're used to it's Miller.
Yes.
Okay, now let's go to 1847. Just 3 years later, somebody named Oliver Chase said, I think I can do better. So he invented the first candy making machine. You cranked it up by hand, you stamped out medicinal lozenges, which led to the creation of Necco wafers and America's modern candy industry. So thank you to Oliver Chase. Very interesting. Oh my goodness. And let's go ahead to the 1900s.
Yes,
What's next?
1900s, and I probably will butcher this again, but I believe it's chicky is
Yep.
a Indian sweet. Now, it's almost when as you dig deeper on that, it looks like peanut brittle, but in that regard, it is very specialized through India. So different nuts. It's also regionalized. Like in northern India, they like it maybe a little spicier. There's ones that
Hmm.
add tree roots, so there's different aspects to it. So you have sesame seeds, and it became popular throughout the 1900s for that texture and simple ingredients. And it's still popular today, and there's a number of companies that sell it in different regions.
Interesting. And they call it Pali Patty in South India?
Yep, and
Kajak?
Kajak, that's where I was going to go. Kajak in North India. Yeah,
Interesting, interesting. We just take things for granted. They just show up
mhm,
on the store shelf. Oh, that's
yeah,
cool. And today, the most popular hard candies here in the US are classics like Jolly Ranchers, which have bold fruit flavors. Werther's Original, that's creamy caramel. We all know that. Great advertisements, by the way. Nostalgic favorites like Lifesavers, Dum Dums, and Atomic Fireballs with fruit flavors, cherry, blue raspberry, watermelon, and creamy and spicy options like cinnamon. So that does it for Hard Candy Day. Now, you have another holiday we're going to start. Why don't you kick this one off? It's Oatmeal Muffin Day.
it is. Yeah. So, and this has come all the way from the 10th century, which is crazy that it's that long. So, it's a Welsh yeast leavened griddle cakes, and then it evolved. So, today's yeast of muffins were distinct from the sweeter ones in America. And then these griddle cooked ones became popular in New York in the 1870s. And then I did some research. There was a couple different, the American Baking survey that went out. Can you guess the top five muffins that are consumed every year in America?
Top five muffins.
Yes.
Well, one would be Thomas's English
Well,
muffins.
no, no, I'll go. These are blueberries number one.
Well, oh, you mean the
Flavors.
style? Oh,
Yes,
blueberries,
flavors.
and
Sorry, yeah.
then okay, blueberries, and let's see, chocolate chip,
Number two.
and there would be orange,
Nope. Bran.
lemon,
Bran
lemon.
is number three.
Yeah,
Then the oatmeal one. So oatmeal muffin day. There we
yeah,
go. And then number five is pumpkin.
yeah. Seasonal. Yep, like
Yep.
with
Yep.
pumpkin
But it,
lattes.
yes, but it bangs to to get number five. And then the rest, I think lemon was in the top 10. But yeah.
Very interesting. And I'm giving you two in a row here, so you got the next one.
Oh,
Then I'll
yes.
finish this one up. Go.
Again, the next one was I had learned because obviously I've heard of it's American cookery used this. So in 1796 was pearl ash was used, and now it's
Yeah,
potash. And
yeah.
it's really like baking soda, but it was they would use the ash from wood to help leaven the bread. And it was a whole mixture you would do,
Wait a
adding
minute. Wait, wait,
liquid.
wait. Ash from wood in the muffins?
Yes. No, this is not muffins. This is just in baking in general. So this is
But
how
ash
they would do
from
it in a
wood,
recipe.
they were eating wood at.
Yeah, you would do that and add liquid, and that's how you got it to be, leavened. Yeah, but if you went put too much liquid in, it would become sour, and I think the wood would consume it. But there was that, obviously recipe. So you need to have that, and over 8,000 tons were exported in 1792.
Oh my goodness
Yes.
gracious. And didn't you have a cookbook in there who was talking about pearl ash?
American Cookery, yes, they were the ones that the first ever one by Amelia Simmons. So she describes pearl ash and its uses, and now obviously it's become more potash, which is replaced.
Potash.
It's baking soda basically at the end of the day, a potassium
Interesting.
carbonate. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't even want to know where that comes from.
Yep.
1896, 100 years, 1 century later, American style muffins. And I'm sorry, when you said muffins, all I think of for muffins, two
Is English
reasons.
muffins. Thomas's English
English
muffins.
muffins,
You're right. Yeah.
but I will tell you that I discovered when I was in North Carolina, discovered something called Krusteaz, Krustaez. It's on the shelves in the
Okay.
supermarket and it's a muffin mix. And it comes in about 5 or 6 flavors and it contains everything except you add eggs and or oil and water. I don't think you add milk to this one, and it makes the most wonderful muffins. And I always embellish them, Matt. I'll add extra
Sure.
chocolate chips
Yep.
to the
Yep.
chocolate, or I'll
Yep.
add extra craisins to the orange cranberry ones. And now I've learned instead of making them in muffin tins, I will put it in a 9 by 5 loaf pan and I
Oh,
will make
interesting.
it
Yeah.
into almost like a coffee cake,
Square.
but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
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 And then you slice it and it stays very moist. You put it on a plate and you could actually microwave it for about 20 seconds and just warm it up when you want to have it with a cup of tea or coffee. So that's what but Krusteaz is my favorite muffin mix now. So let's go to American style muffins needed individual molds because
Yep.
the batter was used instead of dough. So you had to pour it. The shape and size are similar to a cupcake. Yes, we know that. And it's indistinguishable sometimes, similar to today's quick bread muffins, which are what we're talking about. One of the earliest recipes for oatmeal muffins appears in Fanny Farmer's book called The Boston Cooking School Cookbook. That kind of says it all. And let's jump ahead to 1901. And when we think of oats, who do we think of?
Quaker.
Quaker. That's right. Quaker Mill Company was founded in 1877 in Ravenna, Ohio. In 1881, Henry Crowell bought the company and launched a national advertising campaign for Quaker oats. And I think we remember, you probably do, I do, when oat bran was the big thing for reducing cholesterol,
Yep. Yep.
and everybody went nuts for oatmeal muffins, right?
Yep. That's
Everybody
it.
went nuts for oatmeal muffins. Yes, I don't think it helped, and I really didn't like them because I was trying to make them. We have a special mention holiday here, and I'm going to let you kick this one off because I get the last word on this one when we
Yes.
alternate. This is important to me, and I'll tell you why, but you go ahead and get us
Okay.
started.
So National Crossword Puzzle Day is
Woo!
December 21st. So it's coming up. It'll be over the weekend. I am not a crossword puzzle guy. So I think that's something that is interesting. Again, the only one I was ever good at was the TV guide one. They used to come
Okay.
and the back, you could get that so easy in the day. The other thing I learned, so this is where it started. So U.S. journalist Arthur Wen published the first known crossword puzzle in 1913. It was called a word cross puzzle. And then as we evolved through this, the things I learned that there are championships and tournaments for crossword puzzles. There's an American one, there's the world one. The next one, if you wanted to attend and watch in person, is April 20th in Connecticut. So
I
that
might
was
I might have to go
go
there.
road trip, go
Well,
crossword puzzles.
I'm a
Yeah,
crossword puzzle fan, and I will tell
nice.
you that I used to do the daily New York Times crossword
Yeah,
puzzle on the Long Island Railroad. I was traveling to the city for work from Great Neck, Long Island to Manhattan, and I was sitting with four, shall we say, industrialists. One of my neighbors who owned his own manufacturing company,
hmm
and
hmm
he knew other people from the community. We would sit in three by three seats facing each other,
yeah.
and two or three of us would do the crossword puzzle right there and see who could finish it first, the
Oh,
daily
that's
one.
funny. Yeah,
By Friday, it got harder and harder, but I used to get the New York Times on the weekend, and the magazine had the full crossword puzzle. I learned to do it in ink, Matt. I did it
wow,
in ink, not
that's
pencil, and I
brave.
became a
Yeah,
fan. Now, and we have more to tell on the story, but now I do every night, I do Wordle, Blossom, Strands, the Connections, and the New York Times Mini. And I have a race with a friend of mine who lives in my community here in
yeah.
Tennessee, and we share that she can do the New York Times Mini online some days in less than 40 seconds.
Wow.
My best was, I think, 37 seconds, and that day she did it in 29 seconds.
Wow.
29 seconds. So we compare a little chart. We send the results. I have
Yeah.
two or three
Yeah.
or four people I share those with, but Nancy is she's my biggest competitor on that. So let's go to 1920s. Crossword popularity spread across American newspapers and magazines. By the mid 20s, crossword puzzles were, well, I wasn't around, neither was Matt, but they were a nationwide obsession, and we know why. You've got the next one.
Yeah, and then in the 30s and 40s, they spread all throughout the UK and Europe, adapting to the different languages and formats. British cryptic crosswords are used unique and challenging styles. You figure too, again, that's when, as wars breaking out, and again, a lot of the Americans coming over there, that could have been some of the
Yes.
impetus for that. Yeah.
Brought it over. And let's move to the 1950s to 70s. Crosswords became a daily ritual for millions. Yes, yes, yes. Appeared in books, on radio references, in TV mentions. Everybody was talking crosswords. Puzzle solving gains a reputation as entertainment and I will tell you, mental exercise, very important to get those clues to learn. And when you're doing online, you can look up very quickly. You can
Mhm.
go do a Google search on something, and how fast can you hit those keys in the right places and look at the score and see if you've got them right. It's, I think it's wonderful, not mental training, but mental health. Let's just say that. Mental acuity, that's a
Yeah.
better word. What happened in 1993?
So, and this is another good word you threw at me. This would be a good crossword puzzle word. American cruciverbalist.
Cruciverbalist.
Close, verbalist. Yeah, I almost had it. Bill Shorts was appointed the editor of the crossword for the New York Times, and he's a recognizable name throughout the culture. He helps modernize the puzzles for new generations, and he was from Indiana University with a degree in the invented field of enigmatology,
Perfect.
and he's the world's only academically accredited puzzle master. After
Yay.
starting his career at the Penny Press and Games Magazine, he was hired by the New York Times again, 93.
Will Shortz, Shortz, well-known name in crossword circles and crossword squares. And oh, one more thing. When I was working at Chase Manhattan Bank in marketing for global cash management downtown near the World Trade Center,
Mhm.
which it was in those days, I created the Chase Global News. You would have loved this, Matt. And it was newspaper style, actually printed on newsprint.
Wow.
And I designed a crossword puzzle in PageMaker, one square at a time. And I didn't have an app to create it.
Sure,
So
sure.
I had one square at a time and I lined them up, and it was based on banking terms and things that Chase was doing at the
Yeah,
time. And that was in my monthly paper, the Chase Global News, and I had a crossword puzzle,
nice.
and I put the answers, I think, in the following edition so
Got it.
nobody would peek. But I that's how much I love crosswords. So let's go to the 2000s. Digital and apps. What are we talking about? Crossword moved online. Into apps, into mobile devices, new formats included mini crosswords, and I do the mini every day. Themed puzzles, yes. Collaborative solving, well, I think we do that when we share hints with people.
Mhm, mhm.
And competitive speed solving, and that's what you're talking about, the tournaments. What's
Yep.
next?
So then the 2010s to the present, it's the crossword renaissance. So they're more inclusive, playful, pop culture savvy. The creators gain the following. Tournaments grow, and crosswords remain one of the most enduring word games worldwide.
There you go. And popular formats include the American style, which are straight clues. They give you the clue, and you
Mhm.
get to know there's a lingo after a while,
Sure.
Matt. You get to know the certain things will appear in a lot of puzzles. The British cryptic crosswords, they like to play with us.
Yeah.
Themed puzzles, you mentioned mini crosswords, I mentioned, and collaborative and competitive puzzles. And it's no puzzle to me that it's been a real joy welcoming you. Let's dance out.
We're out. We're out.
Stick around. We'll talk.
Okay. Nice.
I've got a couple more birthday shows before New Year's, so watch for them. I think
Right.
two
Oh,
or three
yeah.
next week. Yeah,
Sweet.
your day. Matt, when's your birthday?
August 24th.
You're coming back.
There you go. Virgo.
Libra.
All right.
Fair and sometimes balanced. Let me thank the Suno Orchestra, and let me thank Matt K. Kovacs for being my special guest host today. Let's wave goodbye to social.